brought visual aids, y'all, thanks to Liliana. I'm giving our final award. I don't know if y'all know, but it's the Golden Bedpan. Y'all get ready. Good evening. It's now time for the Golden Bedpan Disservice Award. For those of you who've been here before, you know that this award goes to those that fight against the health and welfare of their community, which in this case is all of America. This year we're recognizing Big Pharma as a whole, all of them. And they're really good company. Past recipients include former Governor Rauner, Rodney Davis, Representative Rodney Davis, hopefully not 14, and the Illinois EPA. So you know it's only the best of the worst that we recognize. Some other people who will go unnamed could win this award every year for the past 2 years. That's a little too obvious, a little too on the nose. A couple years back, Martin Shkreli, the Pharma bro, was up for this award for his blatant disregard of the lives of others. He didn't even bother pretending that his money grab was anything else. But today, we honor the entirety of his ilk, even the ones who don't look quite so sleazy. The executives, the administrators, and the other decision makers that support the ransack of families across the nation in the name of pharmaceutical profits. The Sackler family, who runs Purdue Pharma, has gained some notoriety due to the 2,000 lawsuits brought against them related to their role in the opioid epidemic by marketing OxyContin in creative ways, which it means illegal. They also played with the idea of developing addiction treatment medication, since treatment for opioid addiction and the sale of opioids are naturally linked. This is a direct quote from actual internal correspondence. The same company that pushed for doctors to prescribe higher doses of OxyContin and lied about how addictive the drug was now want to profit from the devastation that they brought. They want to continue getting money from the very same people who they called reckless criminals and blamed them for misusing their drug. They were only moderately better at hiding their complete disregard for humans. Another evildoer in the world of pharmaceuticals is Eli Lilly. You may have heard of them, but if you haven't, you've definitely heard of the medication that they manufacture. Insulin is manufactured by 3 major companies, and Eli Lilly is the top one in the US, and they're set to control the majority of the insulin supply. And combined, the 3 top companies control about 90% of the market. And not only have they fixed prices to an exaggerated amount, but they've made sure that no biosimilar drug gets created. They've closed the door to sharing this life-saving medication, which diabetics must have to survive, in order to keep their billions in the bank. But they're not alone. Their unabashed quest to maintain skyrocketing profits. Purdue and other drug companies must give credit to their supportive partners for this win. Distributors like McKesson and Rochester really made it possible for them to get this Golden Bedpan Award. Through their relationships with pharmacies, they helped pharmacies circumvent limits for drug volume and avoid regulatory audits from the DEA. Even when distributors knew that some of the doctors might be engaged in criminal overprescribing, they continued to ship to these pharmacies and keep the DEA in the dark very deliberately. And many of you may ask, how do they sleep at night? Well, it's actually really easy when your ears are full of money. The Government Accountability Office estimates that the drug industry is worth over $750 billion, and everyone involved gets a piece of that. From the unethical doctors who were bribed to accept bribes to overprescribe, to the distributors who managed to hide millions of opioids from the DEA, and all the way up to the chair of the drug company boards. But the chickens are coming home to roost. Several states now have built criminal cases against these players, and just yesterday, the federal government found NC's founder, John Kapoor, guilty of a racketeering conspiracy. But it makes the most sense. Big Pharma is effectively a very organized crime syndicate, and it's about time that they were held accountable. criminal charges are just one part of the solution. We must also dismantle the avenues by which Big Pharma has hijacked the healthcare system. So thank you to all of you for being here and supporting the work that we do in support of legislation that diminishes their power and the power of other Golden Bedpan Award winners. So thank you so much for letting me do this.